Alright, so here's that pre-baking stuff. I kind of pieced Link back together. Before I talk about that though, I kind of had to do a better sword holder than I was picturing in my head, so I ended up actually going about that. Like I said, that was like the shield, just literally copied the artwork almost just straight up, and then just kind of attach that on the back. Alright, cool. So now what we're going to do is finalize this. I really hope you guys are using toothpicks because I think I made mention of you needing to use toothpicks. I just didn't have any. And on top of that, this clay is, like I said, really dried out and stuff, so it's just falling apart. But hopefully, toothpicks, you use them, and Link, at least your Link, is kind of put together a bit better. But in case you didn't, and because I did not kind of just tell you briefly what I did, I literally just kind of took the clay and almost dragged the, like, say this blue here onto um, the brown, almost like when we kind of like mush stuff into each other. But I mean, not to that extent. But it holds it somewhat better than just kind of pushing it on because when you just kind of do that, like watch this. Figure I can show this kind of because if you just have two parts and then you kind of just push them on or whatever, just like that, then they're you know somewhat easily they can. This clay is wet, of course, so we're not going to be able to show it very well. But they somewhat break apart easily. Whereas if you kind of do this, like again we've been doing, then it's a lot harder to kind of break apart. I don't know. Um, but that's what I ended up doing here. So with Link kind of intact here, I think for this model at least, the best way to kind of go about putting him in the oven is to literally just I think just simply lay him down, just due to his bulky size. I think that should kind of work. And we can kind of do like what we did with Peppy if you wanted to, and kind of make a stand for him either before or after. Um, which I actually might do right now. I'll make like maybe like we did Peppy, and we made the Star Fox logo. I'll make a Triforce like right now. Um, you know, so that when he comes out of the oven, we can kind of just glue him on there. Because there's no way this Link is gonna stand. So I think with that said, I guess the next part will be seeing what he looks like after he comes out of the oven. So, yeah, stay tuned. Well, that's coming up next in the same part, but I had to stop filming and then put him in the oven and then continue filming. So, yeah. All right, guys. So here's Link out of the oven. Here's what happened. So I put him in the oven, as I said, laying down, and he came out of the oven actually in pieces. Even the parts that had been secured with toothpicks simply fell out of the slots, probably because while it was baking, the clay just, again, kind of crumbled. So when it came out of the oven, I ended up using my Loctite super glue and kind of assembling him together. Hopefully you didn't have the issue of him falling apart or having trouble getting him into the oven. If he didn't stand when you took him out, that's okay because we made a stand as I did. Um, I made a small Triforce right there that we can, like we did with Peppy, just put glue on his feet, put him on the stand, and he instantly stands, which is a really great way to kind of go about doing that. Um, so with that said, kind of the minimal assembly that I didn't really anticipate, and the fact that Link is pretty much now done. Once again, hopefully you didn't have any trouble with him with taking him out of the oven or anything like that. I guess I'll give my final thoughts to this clay tutorial. So I will first say that this was definitely the hardest clay tutorial I've ever done. Maybe the hardest video I've ever made, considering I just was not anticipating for such a difficult kind of endeavor to take on, I was just thinking all the clay models in this September month, even though it's way long past September, didn't really pose too much of a challenge, and none of the ones in the past really did, but for some reason this Link did. I mean, just the amount of parts I really wasn't planning for, and the fact that I kind of got tied up in the week and I couldn't film on certain days and the clay kind of dried out. So I think just in terms of not anticipating the worst really kind of made this seem like an unprofessional, really challenging clay tutorial. Because if I did it, you know, if I sat down for like 5 hours all in one day and filmed this, then it may have been better, but I didn't know that was going to happen considering I didn't have the trouble that I did with Link, that I had, or I didn't have the trouble with Fox, Peppy, or Spike as I did with Link. Speaking of them, I guess I'll kind of take them down and showcase the entire month of clay tutorials. Try not to make any of these guys fall. So those were all the requests. By the way, this Ocarina of Time Link, Turtlecraft Z1 actually suggested it, and I actually was thinking about doing it anyway, so that's kind of why I didn't really mention that anybody requested this, but he did bring it up, and I was going to do it anyway, so... Anyway, like I said, sorry if this was a bit more unprofessional than normal and a bit dragged out and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I just wasn't anticipating for the worst, which I should have been, but it's a learning experience, so that's that. Now that this guy is done, which I've never been happier to finish a video, except maybe Video Game Clifford Models 9, we're definitely moving on from tutorials. You probably will not see a tutorial for at least a good year, unless for some odd reason I'm in some type of mood where I feel like doing a clay tutorial. I ran out of supplies. Again, like I said, I was out of toothpicks and I was out of clay by the end of the month, so that probably factored into it being a little bit of a struggle as well. But yeah, so these are all the tutorials you can go through and kind of watch which ones you want to watch and stuff. This exceeded the, you know, any parts to a series, any amount of time for one video, because I think if you add up all the parts, this whole video is probably like close to an hour and a half, maybe. I'm just guessing there, but yeah. So thank goodness this is done. And now, the next couple of videos I actually have ready is an updated Pokemon collection, which I meant to put on before X and Y came out, but that didn't happen. And an in-depth series, a good old in-depth series video that I have yet to record, which is good because I'm aching to do a video that doesn't require a lot of stress. And in-depth series videos usually don't require a lot of stress. Yeah, so with that said, look for those on probably next weekend, maybe sometime this week. If I post a video this week, probably no more for this weekend because I'm kind of done. So, yeah. Hello, Supersonic Q. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you had more success than I did in this link clay tutorial. Until the next video, Finn.